Hello, everyone. Welcome to class.
How are you doing, everyone?
Hey, good to have you.
Hello,
Yeah,
everyone.
Yeah, we're fine.
Hey. Good. Good to have you guys. All right. So, welcome to this session. So basically, I'm aware that, am I recording? Just check. Yeah, it's recording. So I'm aware that most of us here are completely newcomers to IT. So even though this course is Linux Systems Administration, which is the first course according to my design to launch you on the path of being a cloud engineer and ultimately a DevOps engineer. I would like to take most part of today to give you an overview of what IT and cloud engineering is all about so that you get a proper footing into IT. So let me share this. Share screen. All right. No, that was not. All right, so I'll be doing a lot of explanation at this time. And then at some point, depending on how you are coping and how many questions you have, you might be going into Linux proper today or maybe later. All right. So my name is Akin Aregbesola. I'm sure that you already met me on Instagram. So we've been doing this for in the US for about 4 years now. So basically, I help completely newcomers to IT, people that are completely new to IT. I help them come into IT by giving them the kind of training I'll give them good foundation to build an IT career on. All right. So today we'll be looking at, just an overview. There's really no structure for today's course or today's inaugural session. Just an overview of IT. So bear with me, and then you can ask questions intermittently. All right. So when we talk about IT these days, what we have in mind is usually cloud, because everything is moving from traditional IT, from traditional on-prem and physical IT infrastructure to cloud. So what do we mean by cloud? By cloud, we mean that the physical systems that we used to have by setting up networks, renting ports, doing cablings, and then connecting all of our computers together and having you go physically to a place where you sit on a physical computer, all of that is being obsolete. What's in vogue now is the virtualization of that concept. So that instead of physical computers, we now have virtual computers in a place that is no longer physical. All right. So if you have a contract that requires you to set up 50 computers to deploy that contract, for example, it will be old school, old fashioned, and you cannot compete in the kind of world where you go and buy 50 physical computers, set them up the old way. What you do now is go into some cloud service providers network, and in 10 minutes, set up the 50 computers that you need. Already, they are mostly already networked. And what you could have achieved in the traditional IT environment in 3 weeks to 6 months, you can achieve within cloud environment in only a matter of minutes. So these days, when we talk about IT, this is the kind of IT we have in mind. An IT environment, a virtual IT environment where you have access not just to the infrastructure and services that you can set up by yourself, but to hundreds and possibly thousands of other services that you have not even imagined that you would need, but they're already there potentially waiting for your use, right? from Internet of Things to machine learning to robotics to Route 53. In fact, things that you have not imagined, like I said, they are already available, already set up by tech giants who have this special gift to see the future and prepare what the future needs, all right? And the three most popular of these tech giants that have provided these resources, these facilities, this infrastructure that you can easily go to in cloud and just click and then you have access to them and then you can do whatever you need to do. They are one, AWS. AWS means Amazon Web Services is the #1 cloud provider. All right. The #2 cloud provider with the most clients will be Microsoft Azure, owned by Microsoft. And then the #3 is Google Cloud Platform, owned by Google. So these are the three most popular cloud service providers. So when we talk about cloud, we actually mean coming into the cloud services offered by one or more of these providers to set up our entire IT infrastructure, our entire IT company, and everything that we need will be provided within this cloud. All right. Now, within cloud, the whole IT, like we knew it in those days means like 15, 20 years ago. The whole IT, like we knew it then, we call that kind of IT traditional IT. They still exist. They still exist. So in cloud, we still have networking, we still have administration, we still have the concept of running databases. We still have setting up systems from scratch and putting the necessary operating system and running them, that's administration. All right, networking, and so on and so forth. Different aspects of IT, security, all right, all of this still exist, but no longer in the traditional environment, but in cloud. So, of course, we have development or coding, we have operations, and so I can keep listing all of them, 15, 20, 35 of them, different aspects of IT. But the aspect of IT that because one man cannot know all of this in details, maybe a little bit of this, then majorly on this. Another person may be majoring on this and then know a little bit of this, so there are specializations. We call them specialization in cloud. But the area that I specialize in amongst all of these possible areas of different areas of specialization is called DevOps. So I'm going to explain to you what DevOps is within the context of what I just explained. All right. Now, when we talk about software development these days, we actually mean, when we say software development, what we have in mind when we say software development is applications, developing applications and launching applications. You know what applications are? So in place of software, we'll simply say application. So applications like Uber, like DropUp, and dating app. In fact, almost everything these days has the app version, right? So the concept of converting your idea to an app and then converting this app to something that can be put on a computer so that it's available to the world globally. All right? All of that concept of converting the idea, like I said, is called coding, or more specifically, or more broadly, more specifically is coding. More broadly speaking, is called application development. Application development. And people who do application development are called developers in IT. Okay, so as developers, they will get the idea from the owner of the, actually they don't get the idea directly. So how it works is, somebody has an idea about, oh, I wish I could do this. I wish I could write some software that would do this, that would, for example, let's say Uber before it became popular. So somebody had that idea, okay, I want to convert this taxi and logistic and transport business to an application that the whole world can access. So they have that idea as the idea owner, and then they call somebody else called a business analyst. A business analyst would listen to all of this idea in normal English language and understand, right? This is the owner of the idea. It could be also the business owner, or he could get money from somebody who owns the capital, and that person becomes the business owner while he remains and then there's the business analyst. And then this business analyst is now able to interpret this English to technical terms, and then hand over these technical requirements, because he draws requirements from this guy, hands over the technical requirement to this other person. Usually you could have a project manager, a scrum master in between, but let's just say this guy is the coder or the developer. So this developer understands the whole idea behind this, the whole concept of the idea, and it's able to write the codes that will translate that idea from just an idea to a computer program that will be made available to the world. All right. So he writes these codes, maybe in a programming language like Java, for example, or Python or PHP. So he writes, converts all of the English from this man and the technical terms from this man into codes. So the idea is now available in form of program, otherwise called codes. So the developer would have done his work by the time he writes codes that interprets that technically. So as it is from this point now that cloud work starts. So first of all, there is the cloud. We already said this cloud could be, it's usually AWS most of the time, but it could be Microsoft Azure or Google. So this cloud is what we call operations within the context of what I'm explaining now, operations. So your server is here. Your server is here, where you are going to deploy this application that this guy talked about. You are going to deploy that application here, and the whole world will now have access through internet to this application. Right? So everybody will be able to connect from China, from Africa, from US. You'll be able to access this your application. Maybe you charge them $1, $5. You'll be able to access the application as your subscribers, as your customers, as your clients. Basically, whether you make money from it or not. So this is operation. Now, how do you get this code to become the application and then convert this code to application and then deploy this application to this server in cloud and make that application in this server in cloud visible, seen by everyone? So the process of taking the code from this point and doing all of the work that you need to do on the code in order to get it into operation so that the world, the customer will see it. That is the work of a DevOps engineer. So as a DevOps person, you are not necessarily coding. The coders, the developers would have done the coding of that idea to what computer understands. But as a DevOps engineer, you would know about how to go into cloud and set up servers and set up firewalls around the server and set up all of the other facilities around server that will make this server highly available, secure, scalable, and efficient. All right? So this is what you learn in cloud, how to set, because in cloud, it's not just about servers. There are other services as well. So instead of just calling them server, if we remember that there are other services apart from server, we'll just prefer to call the entire server and the services together infrastructure. So as a DevOps engineer, on one hand, you will learn to go into cloud and set up infrastructure and manage those infrastructure. What are you setting up infrastructure for? Just so those infrastructure will be ready to accept and deploy the codes that you'll be pushing into it later so that the world can access the Uber application and be able to use it to order their taxi services. So on one hand, you remember we said everything that takes place here on this part of this long pipeline is operations. So on one hand, the DevOps person knows about operation. He's able to operate within cloud. So that is where the terms ops comes from, meaning operation. On the other hand, the DevOps person also knows a little about this guy, developers. He's able to interact, accept their codes, manage their codes. It's called code management, all right? And then understand the code enough to be able to build the codes into applications. And then deploy the application to infrastructure in cloud. So for that reason, we refer to the dev. So the DevOps person, like I said, has two hands. One hand is stretched towards the developers. The other hand is stretched towards the operation so that he does DevOps. So as a DevOps engineer, and by the way, we say engineer because there are many tools involved in all of this process, especially from this point to convert this raw product to this finished product. There are many tools. There are many tools, such as Git, Jenkins, Maven, Docker, and containerization, Ansible, so many tools. So it is the learning and the ability to use these tools, these software tools, not hardware, that makes the DevOps person engineering using software tools, right? So my own specialization in IT is to teach you how, on one hand, to interface and work with developers so that you can build the codes that they release into application. And then on the other hand, possibly even more importantly, to be able to go into cloud, set up and manage the infrastructure that you need to accomplish the task of deploying the application and making the application available. So to accomplish that task and become a DevOps engineer, you would need, one, to be able to, again, go into cloud. Let's represent cloud by that. And then we said by cloud, that is where we deploy. That's what we call operations in IT. And then when you go into cloud, basically, but you should be able to do more than that. You should be able to set up a server in cloud, set up servers in cloud. If we are referring to the AWS cloud in AWS, servers in AWS is called EC2. So when you set up this server in cloud, as part of the preparations that you are doing in operations so that you ultimately deploy applications into this server, then you need to be able to manage this server. You need to be able to manage this server, create space, move files from one part of the server to another. In fact, ideally, actually, you have multiple servers, not just one server. You'll be able to connect these two servers together, all right, so that they can communicate with one another, and then you can call this one your US server, call this one your Asia server, and so on and so forth. So the tool that you need to learn to be able to manage, administer, another word, the technical word for manage in IT is administer. Administer this server, and do whatever you need to do on them to support the deployment of this application is done through an operating system that is generally Linux operating system. So the number one thing you want to learn in order to become a DevOps engineer is how to use Linux operating system to manage servers in cloud. You need to be able to create servers, manage them, deploy applications, set security, hide files, release files, set permissions, set up SSH with other servers, and ultimately make the content available if you want. Whatever you want the world to see, they should be able to see. Whatever you don't want them to see, they shouldn't be able to see. All of that is made possible by your understanding and your ability to use the Linux operating system to do that administration. So learning this Linux operating system, which is the first of 3 courses you should learn in order to be able to work as an operations person, is very essential. Now, after you have learned Linux, the next thing you want to do is to not just come to cloud and set up server. Cloud is not only about servers. There are so many things in cloud. I think we'll have time and then we'll go into cloud and system. Internet of Things, machine learning, security, like we mentioned earlier on, administering even your own corporate network, a lot of possibilities. So you should learn as much as possible all of these other services within cloud, not just setting up servers, all right? So you want to learn cloud as a course, and that course is called AWS Solution Architect. Okay, so that means you know cloud enough to be able to determine that in order to architect a solution that will house a delivery application, for example, you know that you should set up a server, you should put a NACO around the server, you should open the port for HTTP and HTTPS, you should set up your DNS so that can be resolved. You should know about IP addresses. You see, the list is growing of the things that you should know to be able to architect a solution in cloud. If it's about server, you can learn that one in 3 minutes and everybody is gone. That is it. So you will learn cloud following the curriculum, the syllabus of AWS Solutions Architect Associate level. So that puts you in a comfortable position to be able to go into cloud and set up the infrastructure. It is at this level that you start talking about infrastructure that any solution would need to be able to survive and accessible and scalable and available and secure in cloud. Otherwise, you do not know cloud. So the second course you'll be learning would be cloud under the curriculum AWS Solutions Architect. And then finally, to be able to work as an operations person, at some point you are going to see that what employers are looking for is not for you. Let's go into cloud, for example. So let's go into cloud. Let's go into AWS. AWS with Amazon there. And then you are going to create an account for yourself free of charge for the first 1 year. Already I have my own account, so I'm going to log into my account. So I just come in and I come in here. So right now I'm in cloud. All right, I'm in cloud.
You're not sharing.
Oh, I'm not sharing, sorry. Can you see this now?
Yes.
Am I sharing now? All right, sorry, you didn't see how I came here, but you do it by yourself. So I come here and you see that there are many services in cloud. There are many services, all right? Robotics, satellite, governance and all of that. But what I simply want to do here is set up an EC2, a server. So if I come here and I set up a server, right now I don't have any server running. It's very easy to set up a server, all right? So I come here, I say launch an instance, an EC2 instance. I say call it Linux server, for example, maybe Linux server 1. And I go down and I say, use my key pair, the ITern key pair, and I say launch instance. That is it. My server is created. But in operations, this is not how you create server. Nobody will employ you to come here, and this place is called console. Console compared to this other place. There's this other place. Can you see this blank screen? This is my CLI. So what employers expect is that you are able to come here. For example, in fact, would it be too early to do it? Let me not bother you with that. I'm able to come here and send a command from here, which I can do right now. And from here, the command will go into cloud and set up, if I put 40 here, for example, it will set up 40 servers for me, compared to coming here and setting up 40 servers one by one. This may take me several hours. But if I do it from here, it will take me only 2 minutes and all of my servers will be up. So the ability to work from here, not from the CLI from here, compared to working from console, clicking stop, is what we call automation. This is what employers are looking for. They want you to be able to set up infrastructure in cloud without necessarily going into the console. This concept of being able to set up infrastructure, of being able to set up your server, right? Your analytics tool, your blockchain, your compute, your containers, your developer tools, your database, all of these are part of your infrastructure, everything you see here. So being able to set them up from here is what you call infrastructure as code. So you must be able to deploy your infrastructure, not manually using your console, but using codes to deploy them. Example of infrastructure as code, look at it. Right? This is it. This is a code. And this code is simply saying, go into AWS and then go to the region called US East and set up 40 servers for me. The server should have this configuration. All right? So it is your ability to use codes like this to provision infrastructure in cloud that makes you a cloud solution architect that is ready to get job. You are not ready to get job, at least in the modern day context of getting job, especially this, when you are able to come here to manually do things. Yes, you would have a good understanding. That's fine. It's a good way to start. But employers will not even give you, they will not even give you access to come to the console. They are going to give you just the enough credentials to be able to log in from here. So that is the importance of infrastructure as code. It is when you know these three together that you can now say, yes, I'm ready to get my first job. And your title at that point will be Cloud Solutions Architect. And then we'll be using AWS to do that. Then you become Cloud Solution Architect. So in the first 3 months of training, we are going to cover this one in the first month, this one in the second month, this one in the third month. But that makes you, all of that makes you, together, the 3 courses make you an operations person. You are only able to work in operations, which is good. However, there is something deeper than that. We talked about applications earlier and we talked about software. At this level of operation, you have nothing to do with application. The software that the developers built for that businessman, for Google, for Facebook, you have nothing to do with it. So if you now want to be able to take that code from here outside of operations, if we call this one operations, what do we call this outside of operation where the codes are? We call it development. All right. So to be able to take the code from here, build the codes into artifacts, and then convert the artifact into image, and then deploy the image into your container using Docker. And then if you are deploying to multiple containers across multiple servers using Ansible, or even if you are deploying maybe for big applications, you are even deploying to Kubernetes. So this pipeline is a long one. So for you to be able to, for you to understand how this works, take the code through all of this part. If you can see, I hope you are seeing what I'm doing. All of this part. You see, you are working outside of operations now. So you are working with developers and ultimately take this, not from there, but from here into operations. Then you need to know dev. So when you know dev and you know operations, that makes you a DevOps. Right? So as a DevOps engineer, you are not only working within operations, you are also interfacing with developers, even the people outside of the technical team, like the Scrum Master, the product owner. You are also interfacing with them directly or indirectly, so that you are now able to work with them to deploy application. So you don't just set up the infrastructure and say, I'm done, I finished my work. No, you must be able to take the property for which the house here was built and then put the property in the house and launch the house and say, yeah, it is ready now, and the whole world can see and begin to make money for the organization. So there are different areas of specialization, right? There's the database, the networking, the security, like we said, but this is where I specialize. And this area has a lot of opportunities because everything, like is becoming application. And they're even going beyond just becoming application to becoming automated applications in the form of robots. They are not just static applications. They are applications that are learning to do stuff. So they are learning intelligence. They are learning. They are, artificial intelligence. They are learning every day to be able to do things that were not possible in the past. So it's all DevOps related. And this process will not be manual eventually. I mean, ultimately, you should find a way of automating this process so that as soon as there is a change in code here, then it should trigger a button that would run all of this process, all of these stages of the process and deploy there, even while you are sleeping. So this is what we call the continuous integration, CI/CD, continuous deployment pipeline. Anyway, these are big words for now. But the point is, after you have learned all of these 3, you may want to go ahead to step out of operations to learn all of this so that you become a DevOps engineer. It is at this level of DevOps engineer that the opportunities are much, and then the pay is also very good. Because you expect that the person who can do operations as well as this one will definitely earn more than the person who can do only operations. And if you look at job boards like LinkedIn, you are going to see that there are thousands of job opportunities as DevOps person compared to, there also may be thousands as solutions architect, but there are definitely more jobs and more opportunities as DevOps engineer. So in the next, after you have learned these skills in the first 3 months, In the next 3 months, if you want to enhance the chances of getting job and getting even a higher pay, in the next 3 months after that, you may want to learn what are the courses now? Let's quickly take a look. Go here, and then we open the ITern. You want to learn on top of the first 3. All right, the tools that we talked about, the different tools that will make you a DevOps engineer. So these are the first 3 that we talked about. Learning system administration, AWS cloud solutions, architect, infrastructure as code with Terraform. Then the next 3 months, when you learn G, Jenkins, Docker, Ansible on AWS, and then these days, even though Azure is the second market leader, it is coming very fast from behind. So we're expanding our curriculum of DevOps to now also include Microsoft Azure. So whatever you have learned to do here, you also learn on AWS, you also learn to do on Microsoft Azure. And then, of course, you now learn Azure DevOps, where we talk about Terraform. So by the time you combine these 3 months with these 3 months of training, then you are ready for 6-figure job out there. So that's why I say for 6-figure job, that is it. This might be able to give you 6-figure, but usually it's something in the neighborhood of 65, 75, maybe 85, depending on experience. All right. So that's an overview of what
I have a question.
At this time, I will just take a break and let you ask questions. Yes. I'll take your question.
Okay. Okay, so is there any form of certification that we have to take?
Yes. So there are always certifications. Virtually every course in IT has its own certification. However, for the purpose of getting job and being relevant after this training, we recommend that you focus on just one certification. And then once you get that and you get a job, you may then decide what other certification you want to take thereafter. And the certification that we recommend is AWS Cloud Solutions Architect, Associate level. So that one certification on top of all of this experience and knowledge should do to get you a job as either a Cloud Solutions Architect or a DevOps Engineer. So the certification we recommend is Cloud Solutions Associate, Cloud Solutions Architect. There are 3 levels of Cloud Solutions Architect. There is the practitioner level, which is the lowest level. There is the associate level, which is the middle level. There's the professional level. So we recommend that you take the associate. The training will prepare you to take the associate level of solution architect. All right, did I answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
All right. Yes, questions now.
I have a question.
Yes.
So what is the frequency of the classes for that 3 months? I mean, is it like twice a week, once a week, or, you know?
Yeah. So it will be twice a week. So these classes, the one we have going on now is, what's today? Today is Monday. Will be Mondays and Wednesdays. Right?
Okay, and they run for how many hours?
Then 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Texas time, CST. Texas time. Irrespective of where you are joining from, you convert that to your local time. And then, yes, so twice a week, and then 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. And then we'll have a forum. Once you are in class and I will deploy the projects, and then you mostly watch, understand, ask questions. And then when you try to deploy on your own, you watch the video all over. If you have any problem, take a snapshot of the issue you have, post it on the forum. I'll be able to help you to say, oh, this is what you are doing wrong, this is what you are doing wrong. You do this over 3 months, over 6 months, and then we correct you and you're able to practice these things on your own. That way you can claim the experience that you gain in the training to say, and put it in your resume to say, yes, I have done this, I have done this. And then we also have manuals, step-by-step guide. So you have the videos, then you have the manual. because some of these things, in fact, everything we are doing is about command, but some of the commands are scripts. It will tell you where you can get the script from, part of the documentation of the tool, and then the ones that we can give to you directly, we put them in the manual so that you use the manual as your toolbox, the tools that you need to be able to do the deployment that we talked about earlier on. They will mostly be in your manual. So by the time you try them 3, 4, 5, 7 times, they will become part of it. Yes.
What app are we gonna use to practice? So
We'll be
after
practicing in cloud. All of
in
our practice will
cloud?
be in cloud. Yes. Every time we come to class, we go to cloud to set up whatever we need, and then we'll practice it. So you are going to have a cloud account on AWS and later on in Azure as well. Can you see my cloud?
Okay, cloud. Is that in the App Store? Or is it Google?
No, cloud, AWS cloud. This is AWS
No.
cloud.
Oh,
So
AWS cloud.
you
Cloud.
go to the AWS website and you make an account from there.
Yes.
You make
Oh,
an account with the AWS console.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
So this cloud is the place that, this cloud is the place. This is where we work. This is our workshop. And then when you get job, ultimately, this is the same place where you'll be working. You'll be working in maybe one or more of the 3 popular cloud providers. All right. So the same environment where the same work environment where you'll be earning your 6 figure, that is the same work environment you'll be practicing. So gone are the days where we couldn't go into cloud and then we improvise. We use other methods to show you what cloud. But these days, you go into cloud to see things directly. So live. And because it's cloud live, you will see whether it is working or not. It's live IP address. If I deploy a web app right now, I'm going to see whether the web app is working. So there's no, whether you know it or not. Yes.
When do you start learning with the interface, like the CLI?
On the 3rd month.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I have a question. So like I'm currently I've been a product owner for about 2 years, Scrum Master for 1 year. I'm more on the technical side. I do work with solutions architects constantly. I wanted to know, so for these classes that you offer, do we have to take all 3 of them or do we just pick one?
So ideally you take 3 of them, all 3 of them. But for you, if you know exactly what you want, I just say, let me grab this and go. I don't need it. Yeah, you could tell me what you want and then we'll customize.
Yeah, I wanted to just strengthen my my DevOps skills or cloud computing skills, just so that I can communicate better with my solutions architects. I have no desire to be a SA or cloud security architect, but just have a better knowledge of what they do.
Yeah, so maybe you may want to focus on just this, and instead of 3 months, if you don't have 3 months, we could.
I was looking at that. That one looked like the most efficient one for me.
Yeah, we can look at that for you. For example, I have these weekend classes where I just take only practicals around this place, around here. Just weekend, 2 days. So in 2 days, you didn't see that. For example, we can cover this one, repo pipelines, pull request on Azure console. We could cover that in 2 days. And then we could cover, we could look at that, practicals only, or we could look at the classroom setting where you join regular training. So yes, those options are there. So basically, it is possible for you not to join the people who are completely new to IT, to stay here for 6 months. It is possible for you to customize something for you, one-on-one. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Hello,
Yes.
I have a question.
Okay.
So I see you said there are 3 major types of cloud companies, and I just see AWS and Azure. Would you be like going through GCP too?
No, we will not cover GCP as part of this training. We'll focus only on the 2 market leaders. In fact, we used to focus only on AWS, but now Azure is gaining enough market here to begin to recognize, for us to begin to recognize. So we'll focus only on those two.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe after you understand those two and you are very comfortable, then outside this training, then you can look at Azure, GCP if you want. But those two, they are enough for you to claim that you know.
Okay. And then, sorry, one more question. Would you be, you said the cloud house has like different specialities. Would you be covering like security and IAM and permissions?
No, that's a different course. Security is a different course completely from DevOps. So if you are going to become a DevOps engineer, after these 3 months, you do these 3 months, that's enough for DevOps. But if your specialty, your specialization, where you want to focus is security, then you don't necessarily have to do DevOps. After this one, you can just jump DevOps and go to security. Yeah, if you are doing security, yes, we'll cover those Microsoft Entra ID and those stuff that you mentioned under security.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you
but
so
not
much.
under DevOps. Yeah.
All right. I see
And
also.
security is not as technical as DevOps. DevOps is very technical. Well, not to scare you, but relatively it's technical.
Okay.
But security is more of I don't know if you have used the Microsoft Azure before within a domain. It's just about setting accounts, setting permissions, setting privileges.
Mm.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right then, thanks.
Yes.
So I have a question, by the way, because I'm kind of looking at the security. What would be the prerequisites for doing the security course? And I don't know if you do not have to answer, but if you don't mind, what is the reason for the difference in the price point for security and DevOps? If
DevOps is this is voluminous and then requires extra effort actually.
Okay.
Requires so much goes into that. For me,
Right.
DevOps, I've taught DevOps for many years, so I can literally close my eyes and deliver on. Yeah, but this one is relatively new. The market is hot, and then look at even if I do it for less, I don't think people might look at the potential that it has. So yeah. Then the other question was
the prerequisites for doing it.
Yeah, prerequisites. To be honest, prerequisite is not rigid, but if you know this, it will really, really help. If you already are very familiar, yes, you should be familiar with cloud. And then I will say this, I will recommend, I will not really call it prerequisite, but I will recommend that so that you're not half-baked, you know this first, because it will come to a level one more time where you'll not be doing everything manually. You want to be able to do some things from, automate a little task from here. So infrastructure as code, knowledge of how coding works will help you. So to answer your question, I recommend this. I wouldn't call it prerequisite. If you come without this, I might be able to teach you. But if you ask me, I'll say, please, even if it's not a formal 3 months training, at least understand what this guy is talking about, so that at least the cloud that you are trying to secure, you are really, really familiar with it before you can secure. So this first, and then.
All right. Yeah.
So if you have worked as a user in cloud at this level, so by the time you are now securing, at least you have an idea what users do, what they normally have access to, and then you know what permissions to give. Although you'll be guided by company policy, but this just gives you a brighter perspective of what you actually do. Yeah. Okay, somebody was asking, certification people said they are not just opening for Scrum. What do you have? Yeah, I'm not able to speak for Scrum because I'm not offering Scrum here. Pamela, so, okay, that's addressed to Pamela.
Oh, I'm both product. Well, I'm actually a product owner, but in the past I worked as a Scrum Master, but currently I'm a product owner. And there are job openings for Scrum. You just need to be more on the technical side. But this isn't a Scrum class, so let's not derail this man's class.
All right. I had some work delivery. I'm reading questions from. Yes, there are all classes are recorded, and then recorded classes are shared privately, and you have access for years after training, so you can keep looking at them, so that you'll be able to do things on your own. So it's not really about what we do together, half about what we do together and your understanding of the concept, but more about whether you're able to do them on your own. It's only then that you can claim the experience. I was talking about particularly. All right, more questions? If there are no questions, then I can take you into, you can do something practical. There are no more.
One more question, sorry.
Okay.
As someone who doesn't really know about the terminal, the CLI terminal, is this the right course, or do I need
Yes.
something before this?
Yes, this is definitely the right course for beginners, complete beginners with Linux.
Okay.
This is going to assume that you don't know anything.
Okay. Thank
and
you.
then we can allow you ask what you may call stupid questions, because we understand that you are coming from a non-IT background. But after here, you may not be able to ask those questions here. Because we'll ask you, we're not here, why didn't you ask those questions? So I'm assuming that, in fact, not assumption, I can bet that out of 16 people here, only 1 or 2 persons have seen this screen before. We do not expect that you have knowledge. We will teach you from how to install it, and how to use it.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Somebody's raising hand. Yes, go ahead and ask.
Hi, yes, please. I asked a question about if this session is going to be recorded, because I came in really late, so I have no idea what you guys talked about earlier on. So I'm just wondering if this one will be recorded and shared, so at least I can catch up on what was discussed before I joined.
Okay, yeah, it's being recorded, right?
Okay, and to be shared, right?
Yeah, we'll try, but we'll not make it public.
Okay. Okay, thank you, thank you.
Yeah. Data science course, is it really help with all the technical subjects? There are Scrum jobs. They are just more, okay, I think the Scrum person are taking care of that course. All right.
One last question, please.
Yeah, go on. Ask as many questions. I'm not in a rush. I mean, I need to answer. I know you have questions. That's the reason you are here. So let's take them. Let them come. Yeah.
Do you have any other days for the class other than Monday and Wednesday?
Yes, we can form classes around other days. Mondays and Wednesdays are not convenient for you. Would you have preferred Tuesdays, Thursdays?
That would be better for me personally.
Okay. Are you in the group?
In the group?
In the WhatsApp group, yes, or maybe not.
No, maybe not.
Okay. So yeah, we can look into that in the group. That will not be something to discuss here with everybody, but once we'll discuss that with people who have made payments, and then if it's possible, would adjust the timing. If it's not possible, then next class we'll make sure that we alternate.
Oh, okay. Talking about adjusting timing, because I'm in Germany and it's 1 a.m. Is it possible to like move it a bit like earlier, or?
No, the timing is really because of my own, as a trainer, because of my own other curriculum.
Okay. Okay. No
yeah,
problem.
but the days can be a little flexible with the days of the week.
Okay. I'll make it work. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
But if we talk about the days, right? If let's say I couldn't make even the days, if that are even flexible and that. So with the recordings, if I'm able to go with the recordings and everything, but if I have questions and stuff, I can come back to you. Like,
yeah, you'll be part of the forum. Once you make payment, you'll be part of the forum. So just take screenshot of issues that you have. So this technical class, not too much English.
Okay.
So once you take a screenshot and put it there, we know what the problem is and tell you, you didn't put a command there, that's why. Yeah, we'll support you.
Okay, that's perfect. All right, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Because the timing at times too, like she said earlier, because I live in the UK. So, but
okay, yeah.
But no problem. We'll go with the recording, see if I couldn't make the class.
Yeah, there are many people like that. There are many people who they run shift 1 week in, 1 week out.
Exactly. But it's okay anyway. We'll always come back with the recording.
Okay. So before we go into Linux proper, or we start Linux today, is there something you need me to quickly explain to give you a proper background before we go into cloud?
Yes, I have a question. It's kind of a practical one. What would be the difference between a cloud engineer and a cloud architect?
Cloud engineer is more general. So even a cloud architect can be considered a cloud engineer. So you're able to go into cloud and you're able to, let's see. Okay, you see here? And you're able to do any of these, maybe under, can you see my cloud?
Yes, I can see it.
Yeah. So under development, you're able to use any of these tools, build. So whatever you can do from here, you are a cloud engineer. So cloud architect now would be a specialization of cloud engineering.
Okay.
So cloud architect will not necessarily know about IoT and all of that. He knows enough to be able to set up, take EC2, take a launch template, to optimize cost. He knows to use where to use the reserved instances. He knows what AMI to use. Instead of 30 gig volume storage, he uses 15. So he knows how to optimize the resources and put them together for your own, to meet your own application requirement.
Okay.
And you can now deploy. So it's not just a matter of, I have set up infrastructure, go and use it. No. If you set up infrastructure that is costing me $87 per month, whereas another person sets up infrastructure that is costing me only $37 per month, it's a better cloud solutions architect. So at that level, you are a cloud solutions architect because you are just supporting me with the underlying infrastructure that I need for my application. But a cloud, and so that is specific. That is one arm of cloud engineering. So it would have been anything else. I mean, cloud engineer could have been anything else amongst all of them. For cloud architect who architect it. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yes, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes. And then, yes, question.
So, after these 3 months, right? We can go out there with to apply as a solutions architect.
After the first 3 months, right?
Yeah.
Yes, on the condition.
All right.
That you are able to practice everything we would have taught you under here.
Exactly.
But there'll be many projects.
Okay.
On the condition, especially this last one, infrastructure school. It doesn't matter how fast you are with being able to log into cloud to do. No, you not get job at this level.
Yeah.
Once you're able to do at this level, set up, I give you a design. I say set up an infrastructure that will have that will run the application with high availability, this, and you're able to design it and it comes out well. And then you run the code from here. Yes. Once you're able to do, even you would know that, at this level, I'm right for them. Yes. So the answer is yes. Not just for you to sit down and count 3 months, but for you to do the work.
Exactly.
Yeah. Once you can do the work, yes. But the next question is, am I assuring you that you'll get job?
Well, that's another question.
So many people who can spare 3 months to do this and learn that, so the competition will be high. We'll be competing with, but this is a bit technical. So the person who can go through all of this and then spend another 3 months is likely to, even, of course, you'll be competing in the same market, so it's likely to be favored first, right? Even if the employer does not need this skill immediately, I mean, if he doesn't need the skill right now, knowing that this person has the potential to contribute this to his company in the future, you may want to take this guy over. So the competition here, the competition from this guy may always knock you off, but again, it's possible. 50%. Or with this one, maybe 75, 80%.
Okay.
Yeah, we've had people who even intend to pursue the 6 months training, because at one time we're calling all of this together 6 months training. And then occasionally we've had people getting jobs at this level. Then I think even occasionally here too. It just depends on background. Like somebody that is taking this as their first IT course ever may need additional practice of 2 months, thereabout, after we have completed the curriculum together in class, before they can say, yes, now everything makes sense, I'm ready for this. Whereas others that have time to practice just as we are doing them, and family and work is not distracting them, they may be able to pick up jobs as soon as, or maybe even before the end of it. So that's also market dependent. Yeah.
One more thing I noticed is that with employers, they always talk about experience you've got.
Yeah.
And references.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see, after everything I'm sure about it, you can do the reference and probably have to do the experience and stuff.
Yeah, the experience is the project that you have deployed. What did you do while you were with us here? You are going to do projects here.
All right.
What infrastructure did you deploy? You claim it as experience. And especially at this level, your projects are going to be production grade. They are going to be high level projects, not just classroom projects.
All right.
Just so that you can claim them in your resume. So if you complete the 6 months, we'll give you sample resume that contains the technical terms that the robots and the applications that recruiters use and recognize and shortlist. So yeah, the training will serve as experience. And then if you also complete this, of course, I would have known you haven't trained you for 6 months. And then definitely you can use my company and me as your reference, like the training before you. I mean, that's essentially the gap we're in the market to see. All these little challenges you encounter when you try to do things by yourself. I mean, look at Pamela just contributed and somebody was already asking questions. So imagine that she's part of your forum. So that network amongst you as trainees alone is able to open new doors. You can not only communicate, but have sessions with yourself. And then the more experienced guys would mentor the not too experienced. So everything works.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So the question I have, in the event that I do not want to join the first 3 months, do they run concurrently, or do I have to join at a later date?
No. They run concurrently. We have multiple classes.
Okay.
So as I speak with you now, there's a class. We have classes. The only class I have not started is this Microsoft.
Okay.
Azure security, yeah. So the other ones you can come in anytime and say, can I just do this? Like I said, aside the regular formal classes, I also have the weekend workshop where we just go straight to practicals. Because some of these things, at some level of experience, all you would need would just be the code that does the job. Give it to me, let me go and practice it.
Right.
By the time you are done with this, it's not really much of talk anymore. You would have gotten the fundamentals and the concept. So to be a matter of less talk, just do it. And at that level, all you need is, how do I deploy Jenkins? Where is the command that I need to run in order to set up Jenkins? I give it to you. And then you practice it. You destroy your server, you do it again. And then next time you do it without looking at the manual, then that's things. Then you move to the next. So yes, they run concurrently. And even if there's something that is not listed here that you want, if you ask, you might be able to. Because I do have many kinds of, we know we cannot list everything. Many solutions that cannot be listed here. I just tell you, oh, this is what you want. I've had people who completed training elsewhere, and all they are here for is just give me the practicals. I want to be able to go to interview and claim that I have done this for this company. Give me that exposure that will make me comfortable to claim that. Yeah, that is not a classroom thing. You don't spend 3 months learning that. It's just 3 hours or 5 hours of work together. Yeah, those are available. And then, of course, we'll have some of the projects. So, for example, you could come and say, you know what? Show me how to use Terraform infrastructure as code to provision deployment of Kubernetes cluster in Azure. That's all I want. So this is like a 2 hours project because I already have the manifest, the codes written out. But of course, I expect that you already know how to deploy Terraform manifest. You should have done the classroom version. Now this is the industrial attachment version. We'll do that together. What about production grade, fully automated Azure pipeline? Yeah, these are specific projects. But all of these projects are already part of the 6 months training. So you don't have to come for each of these projects separately if you are doing the 6 months. They're already embedded in the system. Deploy a pipeline script to come. You may not know what this means, but these are the kind of experiences somebody talked about because these are where the questions will come from. So it is your understanding and the experience drawn from the deployment of this project that you use to answer interview questions. Yeah. All right, questions? No questions?
I do have one question. Is there a link to the WhatsApp group, or do we get that after we pay?
Sorry, I didn't get your question.
I said, is there a link to the WhatsApp group, or do we get access to that after payment?
Yes, you get access after payment. The people are already there. People who have paid, they are already there. I think we have they'll have a couple of people there already.
Okay.
We'll add you to that group once we get your payment. Yeah. So today is the 2nd of October. So this one will be going off after today because we're starting this. All right, let's do just a bit of practicals, just so you have just a bit of practicals. So have we seen the importance and place of Linux in all of this now? Or do you want me to go over that again? Why are we learning Linux? Who can tell me? So the first course we are going to start today is Linux System Administration, otherwise called Cloud Server Administration. We want to learn how to administer or manage, to use normal English, servers in cloud. All right? Without Linux, we'll not be able to manage servers. It is Linux command that will help us deploy applications to servers and then manage not just the server, the entire pipeline that will ultimately make us develop. All right, to do that, in the course proper, I'm going to navigate you through how to set up your own Linux account. But just so that you know that this is practical, let's just do a bit of practical. So let me come here. Okay, let me log out and come back here so that you have a feel. Okay, AWS. So I type AWS. By the way, let me show you the manual. Linux. All right. All right, so this is the manual for your Linux course. Can you see my Word document?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, so we are explaining the meaning of a local area network for people that are completely new to IT. This will help. All of this, enterprise network, all right, LAN card. They are mostly old school, but just so you understand the language when somebody is talking about virtualization. And then, of course, we'll be using these terms repeatedly in class, but just so you are comfortable using those terms, all right? All right, but the practical start from here. We'll cover all of this, all right? The practical start from here. Okay. To run Linux on a virtual machine in AWS Cloud, go to aws.com and create a free AWS account or log into your existing account if you have one. You have 750 hours per month free. So you are not charged for creating the account. You are not charged for practicing with AWS resources. Unless, of course, you exceed this allowance or you use facilities that are outside free allowance, right? So this is where I got my aws.amazon.com and I come here and I paste it, right? In your own case, instead of signing to the console, you should be seeing, who can type this to tell me what it is? If you are completely new to IT, can you, and you're in front of your system, can you type aws.amazon.com? Is anybody trying? Are we waiting for someone?
It says create an AWS account.
Exactly. So in your own case, it will say create a new account, create AWS account. But in my own case, because I already have an account, it's going to say login. All right. So when the lecture starts proper, I'm going to patiently wait for you to click that and lead you through the steps of creating. But it's really simple. You can try it on your own. All right. So once you create an AWS account, then you'll be able to log in like I'm logging in now. And then when you come here, you decide of these many services, which of them do I want to run right now? Is it related to storage? All right. This is not the cloud session proper. What we are just here to do is to set up a server and then run Linux operating system on that server so that we can practice. You know, I told you practice is live and practice. So to set up a Linux server, I come to EC2. EC2 is the name that Amazon calls its servers. And then I come to instance. All right, I already have one. To create a new one, I say launch a new instance. Right, these steps are in the manual. If you look at the manual, look at it. Step-by-step guide. Take it. It tells you when you come in here, it tells you number 1, click this. Number 2, click this. Number 3, click this. Number 4, and so on and so forth. And then final click. All right. By the time you do this click, 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 we do it together 7 times. It will become mental for you. You'll be able to do it. All right. So I come here and I give it a name. Yeah, maybe I call it Linux Server 2. And then I go to my number 2 and I click my key pair. All right. And I launch. So that is how to launch an EC2 instance. Some people will know this and they'll go and create resume and say, I know AWS. No, not AWS. All right. So now that we have successfully launched our instance, we click that link to go into, to access the instance. All right. So it is still loading. It's still building the instance pending. If we give a few more minutes, it's going to show the ready sign and we'll see, just like this one, this pending one will be, oh, it's already running. Okay, beautiful. So we have 2 servers running now, right? So we'll take the server that we want to use to practice Linux, and then we say connect. Do you see connect here?
Yeah.
See connect. All right. When we come into cloud as a subject, as a topic, we are going to look at all of this in detail. But for now, we are doing Linux. We just want to set up a Linux machine and practice Linux. So for that reason, we'll just come here to EC2 instance connect, and then we'll click connect. Right? So what you saw here was the outside of the server from AWS perspective. So this is outside of the servers and all of the other tools, applications, and facilities that are available in cloud relative to the server. But once we come here, when we say connect, we are now inside the server. This is inside the server. So the server that we created, the Linux server, look at it, it's running Linux. Specifically, the distribution of Linux called Amazon Linux. All right, so this is Linux. All right, so now that you are inside here, you are inside the server. How do you manage this server from inside? We need Linux command. So we need to learn how to do ls-l, and then print working directory, who am I, all right, make directory and call it test. And then I do ls-l. I see that I have a directory called test now. I cd into test. And then what do I have here? ls-l, nothing. Create a file, file 1. All right, so ls-l. So I have a file called file 1. Put something. It has 0 content. There is nothing inside. Put something into file 1. I'll say echo my test file and put it in file 1. All right, if I do ls-l, I see that I say cat file 1. Why is it showing this? Cat file 1. Okay, cat file 1. I'm going to see that what I said echo. Echo means, yeah, we're not doing it. I'm just giving you an overview. Is there, and then how we're going to learn about 150 commands in all, or to be modest, maybe 100 commands in all, about what command we use to achieve what within this environment. For example, what is directory? When you come to a Windows environment like this, for example, you come here, let's say, how much of personal stuff here? Okay, so if you come here, you see this is a file inside the directory manual. This is another file inside the directory manual. So your Windows environment, you simply click your folder, and then you see the files inside. To open any file, you double click the file. But in Linux, Linux is not a graphic user environment. Look at Linux. There is nothing to click. So in order to go into a folder, you need to write the command. So the command to go into folder or to get out of folder, that is what you call cd. So if I do ls-l, it means show me the content list. This is what you are doing in Windows almost unconsciously. But in Linux, you are not using mouse to click anything. So I have to manually say change directory to test. What does that mean? It means take me into the folder that I'm seeing right here called test. Take me inside. If I press enter, you see, it's showing me now that I'm now inside test. So to take a look, normally for folder, if I just double click, I'll see the content. But here, I'm inside test, but I'm not seeing the content of test. To see the content of test, I'll have to say list. List line by line. And then it tells me there are 2 files inside the folder. But in Linux, we call folder directory. All right? So if I want to see what is inside this file, show me the content, then I can say cat file 1. All right? So these are the things we'll be going through in the first 1 month. We'll learn a lot of commands, how to create directory, make directory, create files, copy files, compress files, transfer files from place to place, and a lot of commands. We'll learn that. So with all of those commands, you will now be able to manage the files that you'll be deploying into your server as application. Right? So you'll be learning, I won't set up your server. This one we'll be doing every day. Once we finish using our server, we'll terminate it, we'll kill it. And then the next day we'll come again, we'll set up a new one. The next day, by the time we'll do this for 1 month, this will become child's play for you. And then at some point, we are going to learn how to telnet so that we don't really have to come here to cloud in order to use Linux. We can stay on our system. Let's do it. So I can go to my system. and I load an SSH client called Tamius. And from here, without going into the server directly, I'll be able to connect to the server from here. So to do that, let me go to the server in cloud. I'll get the IP address of the server. Where's that server? This one. We will explain the meaning of IP address. Get the public IP address of this server. Look at it. Copy it from here. And then I'll provide it here. And then with that, I'll be able to SSH into that server. So if I do that, and that mark says it's saved. So I can just double click this. And then I'll connect. And now I'm accessing that server, which is now remote to this system from here. So I'm freer here. This screen is bigger. I'm able to copy directly from my node and paste. I'm able to, it's more flexible to work from. And if anybody is using Mac, we have the support for you to be able to install this SSH client. And then once all of that is set up and everybody is happy, we're able to terminate, then we'll start to learn the command. All right, look at the command.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So the manual, where is it? Is it going to be? Are you going to make that available to us in the email, or where can we get the manual?
After you pay, this is yours, so I'll give it to you.
Okay. Thank you.
Whether through email or through the WhatsApp group or anywhere, it's yours anyway. You get. All right, so we're going to learn ls-l cd, remove directory echo. These are the commands we'll be learning. tar, c, gz, how to edit files. All right, how to touch, how to copy files, ls, find files, how to create user groups and directories. All right, how to create users and groups, and of course, how to create users and manage user accounts in Linux, and then of course, how to set permissions, which is very key. How to set permissions in Linux, the meaning of all of these, and then Chimon 777, and so on and so forth. How do you know? A lot of practical will happen here because I'm going to give you assignment. In fact, let me show you assignment. So your end of course project for this Linux will be end of course project. So after you have learned all of that, I'm going to ask you to create, modify, and delete user accounts and groups. I want to test your skill in that area. All right, set user permissions and manage user password. I want to test your skill. So I'll ask you to do this. So it is when you are able to do this by yourself that you can now put it in your resume that, I know how to create user accounts and manage user accounts. I know how to set read permission, read-write permission. All right. I'm going to ask you to install packages. So once you can complete this assignment, then you can claim the experience. And then you are going to set up a batch script to automate the process of setting up 30 user accounts at once. All of this would have covered in the training. They are not strange. Would have done it together. I would have shown you how to do it. And I'll now give you that to do it by yourself. So that is where the experience comes from.
So you're going to teach us batch scripting?
Yes, as part of Linux.
Wow. Okay.
All right, guys, that's an overview. I did not, for somebody it's already too much for one day. But I just wanted to give you an insight as to. And I don't know how this appears to you, whether it appears complex. I can tell you that it's not complex at all. With my method of teaching and the way I'll be taking it easy with you, it will be participatory. So it's not complex. You'll be amazed how smooth we can go through all of this together. All right, guys. So that's all I may want to take today. And then, of course, once we are done with our cloud, once we are done with our cloud, we go back to our servers and we select the servers. I will say terminate our servers. Remember, you have only 750 hours free time per month. So you don't want to leave your servers running and use up all of your 750 hours while you are not working. You say terminate my instances. Your instances are terminated. All right. And the connection that you set up here with your remote server is gone because that server is shut down. All right. One step at a time, and at the end of 1 month, second month, a lot of things will make sense. All right, so I'll take another round of questions, and then I'll let you go for today. And then for those that would like to join the class and start the training proper for the first 3 months, you go, you come here, you go online. Let me show you one more time. You come to theITern.com, and then you come to register for training. All right, and then you pay $300 for a month for 1 month. It's for the first month. At the end of the first month, you pay another one. Okay, so yes, so you go ahead and you make payment. All right. At the end of the 3 months, you become a cloud solutions. It's very simple. Just click register for training. And then once you do that, you send me your proof of payment on the WhatsApp number, and then I will add you to the group. So the group will be where we'll be sharing. So this one is a free link. Everybody, it was free for everyone to join today. But the real link to training will be different. Only people from that group be allowed it.
I have a question. Can you, the link that you just posted up of how we pay you, can you drop that in the chat, please?
Okay, so let me see.
Thanks.
Yeah. So register for training, and then I'll copy this thing, Ctrl+C. And where is chat? Are you sure you can copy from chat? Ctrl+V. All right, it's there. All right, so this system is powered off, so we'll no longer be able to work from there because we're powered off the system. So close that, and then if we refresh this, they're already terminated. So it's just there in body. They are dead, terminated. So once your systems are terminated, your resources, your instances are terminated, you are not charged for them. Your hours are not charged, so you can sleep with your eyes closed. All right, thank you so much for your time today. Hopefully, I'll be seeing you in class, and the class will be what's today? Next, we'll be starting properly on Wednesday, the 4th, October the 4th. All of this was not part of the training; it was just an overview. We'll start properly from scratch on Wednesday, from how to create an account and how to set up.
All right.
Nice.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Here. Yes.
Hi, please, what time is it? What time will the trainings be? That was the part I missed. So I don't want to be
6 p.m.
asking.
to 9 p.m.
What time zone is that? So I need to calculate where I am.
CST, Texas time.
Texas time, okay. So it's 6 p.m., right? Texas time.
6 p.m. Texas time. Right now it's 7:30, so an hour and a half earlier than that.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, guys, that's all for today.
Excuse me.
So out of yes.
Yes, I have a quick question. How does the mock interview, after those 3 months, do you give also the mock interview? How does it work?
No, I don't have mock interview for you, especially after 3 months. But after 6 months, I would have given you everything that I've got, mock interview and everything. So you will not need anything. 6 months is enough for me to give you everything. So the interview preparation will come as part of the training of the 6 months. But for the 3 months, we are just preparing you to be will be just strong enough. So you may not be able to assimilate everything.
I guess why he's asking is because probably he might want to be just a solutions architect.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's why I'm being honest to say I don't give mock interview at that level.
Okay.
so that
So,
you know I don't.
so at that level, that is it's on upon us to get there after the experience and everything you've given us. That is,
Yes.
we'll be the one to take it up from there.
Even the resume, right?
Sorry?
What about the resume? Are you going to also
The resume I have is for, I can show you and you see that the resume. So this is actually a DevOps engineering course, to be honest. Where's the resume? Let me load the website. theITern. Okay, we are here now. So the resume is mostly for this project. It's about this project. Maybe only 2 or 3 of these projects are covered under here. Most of these projects that you see here, all these ones, they are under DevOps. They are under DevOps. So if I do share resume with you, you will see that at this level, you are only a beginner. You are not really, you cannot really defend what I have in the resume. However, let's see how I go. I might be able to do something outside of what I already have. I might be able to extract from the comprehensive DevOps resume what you have covered here. But relative to this one, this is not really much, to be honest. This is the real thing you are really taking away from here. This is the real thing. So I can give you that part. Because I have it, I have it. It's not for me, it's for my trainees to get job. The more you get job, the better for me. So I will not deliberately hide anything that will help you to get job.
Exactly. Exactly.
So,
I would like to use some of us. Well, I can't really for all of us anyway. For
you
me,
said?
I said for me anyway. I was thinking. I'm thinking of stopping at cloud solution architect, but
yeah.
But the way you're talking about it, well, I don't know. As time goes on, definitely I want
to. Let's start. Let's even see how you are assimilating.
Exactly.
Whether this my talk is sweet talk, whether it's real.
Exactly.
Whether the projects are really, all of that will determine what the future.
Exactly. I guess that's why I haven't said anything since. I want to start first to be sure I know what next.
Exactly.
Just even looking at the curriculum, the things he has mentioned already, I currently work as an IT system administrator, and I work with like some DevOps and cloud computing engineers, and everything he has said, especially Terraforms, IAC, CI/CD pipeline. In under 1 hour, he has explained something I've been trying to learn for like 2 months.
Amazing.
It's really extensive, the whole curriculum. So if to be honest, if you can just like close your eyes and spend that money, I think you will get back your money worth. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Yeah,
like I said, he said we should start first and get let's see how the assimilation is going. So
yeah,
it's a good thing because I do have a friend in France also. He just finished his DevOps training and he's been so successful about it. So he has been pushing me to go for it also. So guess that's why I'm here.
Awesome. So, where are you?
I'm in the UK anyway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, occasionally we have people join from not France. I've had somebody from Italy.
No, I think it is from another platform entirely. So
I had that.
So he told me to go get it, to be hands-on training about it also.
Yeah. And another thing is
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry about that. Another thing is your foundation here, the way we teach you and the way you understand it. It could be such that you really grasp it so much and so well that you may not even, it is possible, although I'm not recommending that. I just feel, you know what, I can do this by myself. You can just go and do this by yourself. But of course, the more grounded you are with the fundamentals, the easier the future will be because new technologies keep rolling out.
Exactly.
If your foundation is not strong, just find that 2 years later you are not solid. But once it's strong, irrespective of what technology is coming, it's not, new technologies are not completely new. They are just based on old foundation.
Yeah, they keep updating them.
Yeah, as far back as MS-DOS was some 30, how many years ago now? 2004 when I first learned it. It's still relevant today, even though it's no longer called MS-DOS, but it's relevant as part of it. Nothing is really obsolete. They just build on it and call it a new. Yes.
Yeah.
The question somebody was about.
I'm sorry, can you share the WhatsApp number, please? Because I just paid, so I've been trying to look for the WhatsApp number, but I can't find it for some reason.
It's everywhere on the website. Okay, so let me just put it. +12144389105. Yeah, I just shared it.
Okay.
All right, guys. Thank you for your time today. Yeah.
Okay, thanks for the class. Quite interesting and
look forward
engaging.
to it.
Oh yeah, Judy. Is that Judy, right?
Yeah. And the good thing is that one is a teacher, always a teacher anyway. And like the lady actually said, I mean, even me that a veteran, I'm wrapping my head around it as if I was just, the only thing I can say is like getting hold of a dummy book. I mean, like, except for dummies. Basically, is quite engaging. But I pray that as many as could join, because for this kind of lecture, I mean, it's value for money. That's the absolute truth.
Yeah.
So I will encourage as many people as can sign on, especially if the time is going to work out for people. If you can't attend the class, the video is there for them to review. But and I'm talking because I mean I'm almost 3 decades in it now. So but I still want to scale up like we discussed earlier. So all the best for everyone that can sign on. I'll be looking at getting in sometimes later because I'm doing night vigil now to stay awake for this. And, but all the best with everybody.
All right, thank you, Judy. All right, thank you, everyone. That will be it for today. So let's meet again.
All right.
In class properly.
All right. Let's be our lives.
Yeah. All right. Bye, everyone.
All right. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.